Happy New Year. I'm back.
Hey, Happy New Year to you.
Yeah. I was saying it more to the audience. I already said it to you.
Yeah, but not officially, like not over the airwaves.
Yeah, to others?
Yeah.
Is that important to you?
Yeah, that people know that you wish that I have a Happy New Year.
You know, are you a big resolutions guy?
Not really.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to say one of yours maybe should be not to make everything about you. make things more about others.
I was thinking of doing a thing where I'm not maybe so fat in 2026.
Yeah, that's a popular one.
Yeah. No, I know. Like, I'm not buying a gym membership. Okay. I'm not one of those people. But I was thinking, hey, like maybe just tone it down a little bit. Maybe doing one of those water fasts that you do occasionally.
That's not like that's not like a plan for losing weight, though.
What is that?
I don't want to get into this, but that's just a different measure of health. Like if you go to the spa one time,
Yeah.
you're not suddenly like a sauna cold plunge guy.
Well, but you're in that you're working towards that direction.
Sure, but
you're more there than not.
The main reason for the water fast, Cole's Notes version, is that it's supposed to burn certain cells that are the crap cells.
Yeah, I want to get rid of those cells. How do I do that? I haven't eaten today.
Yeah, that's good. I would say just a focus on a healthy diet, which I did not do. It's like all year long, I'm really hyper focused on what I eat and how much alcohol I'm consuming, and trying to make sure that I'm working out 4 or 5 days a week. And then the holidays come, and my true self is revealed.
Yeah,
my true self. The hey,
inner fat boy.
Yeah, just nobody's watching. What are you gonna do? I'm like, I'll lay here more in the dark.
Yep.
Oh, I drank every day.
Oh yeah, so did I.
No, I think I had maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was bad. I remember,
oh God.
and this always happens to me when I come home from the holidays, and this is the longest break I've ever taken during this season, because my brother lives out west. He was coming home for Christmas for the first time in 7 years. It was important to reconnect with my family. I was like, if you follow the show, I wasn't doing social media, and I wasn't doing it in the sense of, well, look at me, I'm so much better. I'll be back on there. I'll be scrolling.
Oh, yeah.
But
you are kind of doing that now. Look at all the time I missed from social media.
No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Is I'm not better than anyone.
Performative. Yeah.
No, it's not performative. Did I tweet? We'll be taking a break from social.
No, you did it worse on national internet television. You're saying that.
I'm just saying that it was really nice to be able to unplug completely, and I just didn't want to be in the vortex in which we live in. And honestly, stepping outside of it was both good and bad, because the bad part was that I did consume too much booze and sweet treats, and I anytime there was something available, I never once was like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe I should take it to the point where when I was coming back, my sister and I drove back from the Ottawa Valley. I was kind of sitting there. There was one little moment where it was just quiet, her and I in the car, and I started to just go into sort of thought process mode of what to do for the show. I had kind of scribbled out some anxiety notes the morning of, and I went, oh my God, I don't know. I might have done permanent damage. Like I might not ever be the same guy. I might not be as sharp. this career, like, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
I don't have any secondary skills.
Yeah, you're too old to be a mover again, I think.
Oh God, yeah, no, I can't go back to that. That's university me. That's a whole different, no. I can't do any kind of physical labor, but nor can I fit into a traditional office.
No.
Nor could I actually have a skill.
Criminal, like something.
Yeah, but I would immediately be one of those, like, today on Dumb Criminals I Got Caught.
It's your only path.
Yeah,
though.
I know, but that's it. I would get famous doing something stupid, robbing a convenience store and running into a locked door.
Defrauding the government, maybe in some way. That seems
that's
kind of
hot.
easy.
That's real hot.
I know.
Honestly, you see stories like that and you go, was that it?
Yeah, buddy.
I could have done that.
Yeah,
I would have done that.
Yeah.
I would have opened up.
That should be your pivot.
Yeah, God. I would have told people to get away from my apartment when they came by with cameras 10 years later. Yeah. I would have done that for sure. Anyway, it was nice to be able to, this is the positive. I felt as though I really was able to connect a little bit more with my casual sports fandom.
Mm. That's good.
Well, so much of what we do is live in it.
Yeah, the minutia.
It's about the tiny little small details and trying to find what it is that no one else might talk about, or having your unique thought crystallized on something that you're very much in day to day to day. And I watched every Leaf game except for the Pittsburgh game.
Mm-hmm.
Like zero watching of the Pittsburgh game. I watched the entirety. Sens Leafs was a blast because I got to watch it with Sens fans.
Yeah,
and it was such a back and forth affair. It was like my brother and I are talking trash, and then all of a sudden the Sens are storming back into it. And then Troy Stetcher afterwards is just incredible. He fills my heart with so much joy.
It's weird when you get a guy that cares and like has emotion.
I know. I have more thoughts on this later.
Okay.
But it was nice to step outside and look at being a sports fan back through the lens of what the real conversations are that most people have.
Oh,
and
is it important perspective for you then?
Yeah, just it was kind of nice. It was a little bit of a reset. So I'm curious to see if it has a bit of a lasting effect. But to the New Year's resolution point, that is my biggest issue with New Year's resolutions, is I think people go too big on them and they try to list out a couple of major things in their lives, and they try so hard to make a massive pivot. So if your goal is to be, as you put it, less fat, the move is, well, I'm going to get a gym membership and I'm going to eat healthy and I'm going to go to a grocery store. I'm going to try to do all these things at once. And then you try those huge things. And the second you aren't doing them and you go back into your routine, instead of accepting that failure as a part of the process, it just becomes even more of a depressing slide where you go, I can't do it. I'm just going to abandon everything. Whereas the better thing to do is, in my opinion, in just my personal opinion, is having like a bunch of tiny little things that you're going to try to improve.
Yeah, I'm the worst at this. This is why I don't do fantasy sports anymore too, because like as soon as I miss, I make the wrong move or I forget a roster spot, and I've just like wasted a week, or there's been an empty spot in my lineup, and I just feel like the whole thing is wasted, and it's like forget it, and like I
wish I got there with like you did. I once again made the semifinal in my fantasy football league, only to get crushed by my college roommate.
Is that amusing? Like,
it's shockingly one of the worst feelings that you can feel. I don't know. Like, again, I have a lot of positive, great things in my life, and yet I would have sacrificed so much just to win $1,000 in a fantasy football league with my college friends. And the feeling of just sadness I get watching this team that sucks lose. And lose to, I played a buddy who had Puka Nakua, and he had a huge fantasy game against the Seahawks.
The Thursday nighter?
Yes.
Oh my God.
So
after the discourse of that.
Yeah, so it was basically over before it began, but it's Thursday, so it had to linger, and I sat with it for days going like, well, maybe my guys will, maybe I'll have a special someone. Maybe I'll have a Puka Nakua. And instead, it was a lot of, there was no special guys. All my guys were bad. I had Jalen Hurts. He played a game where he had like 5 passing yards in the second half, and I went, thanks. Thanks, man. I appreciate you. Really appreciate that. Anyway, so it was nice. It was nice to be able to reconnect with that side. And one of my resolutions this year, in terms of...
you are a resolutions guy.
Yeah, but again, I write...
They're more specific than mine.
I have
a bunch of get rich quick schemes for like weight loss. Like I'll just not eat for a bit. Like see if that works.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Yeah, don't.
A couple of days. I
think again, like if you're trying to do it more so, it's like, hey, can you get 10,000 steps in a day? Because that's really important.
In the summer, that's no problem. I do.
Yeah, I know, but in the winter, it's harder to do. So if I'm you, I'm thinking like, hey, can I get? Actually, you already do have a treadmill.
Yes. Yeah, I have a treadmill and a stationary bicycle. The treadmill is now put away, though.
But because the treadmill, even like you can walk on the treadmill. You could be watching a game like.
I know. I do the exercise bike. You know those hour-long phone calls that I have with you?
Yeah.
Those are now on an exercise bike.
Yeah, I've done that with you before. It's hard to do the same, though.
What? As opposed to a treadmill? You think a treadmill would be easier?
Yeah, because you can walk on the treadmill.
Yeah, but I guess I feel that's more. There's more like up and down. There's more huffing and
whatever.
puffing.
We got too far on this.
Yeah.
We got too far on this.
Right,
Anyway,
okay.
one of my resolutions is just simply going to be that I'm going to try to step out of it a little bit more this year.
That's good.
The hardcore sports vortex.
Oh, that's good.
And try to reconnect with the casual sports fandom a little bit more.
Yeah, and part of that would be unplugging and being less online.
Yeah.
I would have suggested that for you as well, to be a little less online. And
It sounds like a dig when you say it. I don't really like it.
I'm just reiterating what you said.
Now I'm going to be more online,
my
actually.
God. You're the worst.
I'm going to plug in deep. I'm going to find new rabbit holes to be able to go in. Okay, so in the spirit of casual sports fandom, I just want to do one. Originally, I put this down as, did you have a lasting thought or something that you kept coming back to about a certain team?
Yeah.
But now I'm just going to do it as one thought that you had over the holidays on each team. So let's do Blue Jays, Raptors, and Maple Leafs.
Sure.
And yeah, I'll start. You can start wherever.
Yeah, we can start with the Jays.
Okay.
Because nothing's happened, right?
Yeah, I was going to say they were the team I thought the least about.
Yep, me too. I wouldn't say the least. Yeah, probably still the least about. But I did get a lot of questions, like going to kids hockey. A lot of, hey, so what are you hearing about Kyle Tucker?
Okay.
Like, is Bo coming back? And I'm like, I'm hearing what
Yeah,
you
people
are.
still do that. Like
Yeah.
I got those as well, where it's, what do you think the Jays are going to do?
And
Also, how frustrating for ownership.
What?
Well, they've spent more money than any team in free agency.
Yeah.
And as of this moment, fans are treating it as though they have done nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that gets to my overarching thought. It's like there's so much still out there, right? Bo's unsigned, Kyle Tucker, obviously, Alex Bregman, Framber Valdez, like Cody Bellinger. Like nothing's happened, right? It really drives home the point that the Blue Jays, and probably rightly, although I wonder with the Imai signing, maybe they got out ahead of their skis. They really wanted Dylan Cease, and they really viewed the pitching as a problem because the rest of the market, even for starting pitchers, has played out forever. Like Framber Valdez is still out there. Ranger Suarez is still out there. Kyle Tucker, they're in on Kyle Tucker, and they feel like, I'm sure, that they would like to add a bat, maybe don't feel like they need to which I would say you should probably add a bat. Yeah. But they did get to the World Series without Bo Bichette, and the rest of that offense is returning with the added Anthony Santander of it all. But no, the lack of movement in the market and the lack of movement by the Blue Jays, who are one of the more aggressive teams this offseason, really drives home the point that they had one extreme focus, and it did feel like out of their comfort zone to go out and sign a guy before American Thanksgiving to a $210 million deal. But it's like even more stark now when you watch the market play out.
So I'm not really going to care what Framber Valdez signs for the day he signs. But as the season goes on, it's going to be impossible not to compare those two in terms of what you're getting production-wise from both and the price point. And same thing with like Imai, right?
The Imai one was shocking.
Yeah,
because
but that one was weird.
The Yamamoto, he was not in the Yamamoto character.
But there was a moment at the beginning.
He's only 27, and he had an ERA under 2.
And there was a moment at the beginning of free agency where the cool guys, you know, the Twitter, the hip cats,
right? When you were more plugged in and more online.
Yeah, when the old me, who used to pay attention to what the online discourse was, there was a lot of, hey, Imai is the guy. Like he is. If
certainly liked him saying that he hated the Dodgers. That was good.
Right, that was a cool moment.
Playing to the crowd.
I'm the same level of excited about Dylan Cease, no matter what the market turns out to be money wise. But I think it's going to be like, if I was going to draw the closest parallel I can, I guess, off the top of my head, would be watching Pete Alonso's season versus Anthony Santander. And granted, Pete Alonso wasn't going to play in the outfield for the Blue Jays, so it's not like a perfect comparison, right? But watching Pete Alonso rake and thinking, would have liked that guy, even if it would have cost you a little bit more money rather than the season that you got from Anthony Santander a year ago. It'll probably feel similar in terms of reading the market with the starting pitching. But I would say if you get your guy and it backfires, then you can be critical of the front office. But if you get your guy and you pay more and then they have similar results or Cease is even just like a little bit worse than Framber Valdez, I would still, like, that's not going to bother me whatsoever if he's good. If he's good, I really don't care what they pay until it tells you that they're out on somebody else.
Right.
And that was the nice thing actually about the Rogers signing. I still can't get it
Tyler.
right. It is the Tyler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They got the Tyler one.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
Tyler.
they got the Tyler one.
Yeah.
Once I get a name wrong for the first time,
Yeah,
it's
lodged in your
impossible for me
brain.
to get out of it. So when I let that out of my lips, I was like, oh no, this is going to be this way forever now. But they paid him like $37 million. And it feels like they actually misread the relief market too, where not to say that they didn't get their guy, but that being more aggressive in the relief market actually turned out to be the move. And then the teams that ended up waiting had to kind of pay a little bit more, except for the top end guy, Diaz, who some people thought was going to get 100 and ended up getting what, 60 something?
Yeah,
High 60s?
he took less.
Yeah, he
didn't get
took
a
less.
5-year deal. He got a 3.
Didn't even call back the Mets, apparently.
No.
He's like,
Is that enough?
see you later, Mets.
Yeah.
See you later.
Timmy Trumpet's coming with me.
So, yeah, there's a lot left to do. And it would seem as of this moment, would you not say your confidence level is quite high that they're going to be able to accomplish something that is going to make you feel really excited versus the alternative, which is they really strike out?
Yeah, I think so. I still think Kyle Tucker is very much favored to land in the Blue Jays' lap, partly because that's what people who are insiders and reporters are saying, including Mark Feinsand.
The people who know are saying, so you're going, yeah.
Yeah. I agree with you.
This leads into my thought.
But yeah, I feel like Kyle Tucker, the idea that he might take some shorter term, higher AAV deal as if he's last year's Pete Alonso coming off a down year just because he was injured a little bit. And sorry.
Yeah, his second half wasn't great.
Okay, there were injury reasons why, and still, I think he had a 370 on base, which is like 20 points higher than his career average. Okay, like the counting stats weren't there as far as the home runs, but he's not a 40 home run hitter anyways, right? He's 30.
No, he's supposed to be a balanced player who plays defense, can run the bases.
This is the year for Kyle Tucker. He's at the top of the pile when it comes to free agents, okay? And he's not like Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani because he's not Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani. This is the year to sign the 7, 8, 9, 10-year deal. This isn't happening again. You're not delaying it by a year with a bunch of opt-outs or something. This is the year. And if that's the case, every report I've seen is it's the Blue Jays. I guess the Mets are a potential suitor, but it feels like they're tightening the purse strings. They're going to be smart about it, I guess, by losing all their players who were good, but help them not make the playoffs. But yeah, no, I feel like the Tucker thing is a real possibility. It feels like Bo Bichette's market feels like it's collapsing a bit. Again, just reading the tea leaves here. But I would still be very optimistic if I was a Blue Jays fan about landing a bat of significance. And if it's not Tucker, it does feel like the Bregman thing is more realistic as well, because Feinsand had that as well, that Blue Jays and D-backs feel like the two favorites to land Bregman. And maybe Bregman is actually the target they're more concerted in trying to acquire.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's actually... So this is what I thought about with the Blue Jays. When my family would ask me, hey, what do you think they're going to do? And we're reflecting back on the season and just having some casual chats. I'm just not really thrilled about the idea of adding Alex Bregman, given his age and given the power number declines. And
he's only 31, though, right? Like,
yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, though, that when you're saying the thing about Kyle Tucker and how this is the year for him, to me, it actually really does feel that way with Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
Is that his time of being Mr. Opt-out like he was with the Red Sox last year, we've moved past that due date. So if you're paying Alex Bregman, I'm guessing you're paying him for at least the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So I just don't really feel overly comfortable about having Bregman on the books for 4 years and Santander on the books for the next 4 years. Yeah, you feel a little old. You feel like there's more negative regression that can happen with those guys. Out of all the options, Bregman excites me the least. That's the way that I feel about it. You could push back on it all you want. I'm not going to change my mind. I would rather the Jays end up with Cody Bellinger as a consolation prize than getting Alex Bregman at this point for where they're at as a team. Just, again, my personal feeling. Everyone can do whatever they want. That's fine. Your thing about Kyle Tucker is what I sat with the most. I'm actually pretty spooked about the doomsday scenario with Kyle Tucker and him taking a short-term deal, the Pete Alonso deal. Here's why. Next year, can you tell me who the biggest free agents are? When you're saying, like, hey, this is the year, he's at the top of the pile, this is going to happen for him again. There's only two guys that hit free agency next year that I looked at that are going to be like real money getters.
Dalton Varsho after his 55 homer season.
That would be great. I'd be into that.
Yeah.
Although then everyone would be like, why didn't you sign him when you had the chance when he was bad in the World Series? So Ronald Acuna Jr. needs a new contract.
Yeah.
I don't imagine the Braves are going to let him go.
Yeah.
Don't you think they're going to end up sacking up and doing the Vladdy deal for him essentially?
The devastating injuries that he's suffered in his career.
Definitely. So maybe that throws a wrench into it. But still, Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to be very much at the top of the pile in terms of guys you would want for your future, guy that sells tickets, guy with just a flair and also production. He's at the very top. Tarek Skubal, clearly, right?
Yeah.
But he's a pitcher, so it's going to be a different market for him. And you're going to have to set a record in order to sign Tarek Skubal. I'm starting to believe more in a scenario with Kyle Tucker where if a market is not materializing, where the Jays are sitting there as the only team that has the long-term option, but it's not even close to what he dreamed of, because I've had talks, as you have, with some of these people, and my indication from a few people is like Kyle Tucker is not even getting close to that $400 million. Like that's what he wanted originally when he went to market. He did have a bad second half to the season. There are some doubts about him. There is a little bit of, well, Kyle, are you really that good? Well, he doesn't hit 40 home runs. That if I'm him and I'm looking at it and going, you know what? What's 1 year on the Dodgers going to do for me with opt-outs? What's 1 year with LA where I sign a 3-year deal, opt-outs after each season? I go back to free agency next year, and I'm competing with Dalton Varsho, Jazz Chisholm. It's not the deepest free agent class, man. Like, Trent Grisham's back out there. Like, he just opted into a deal. I'm just saying that it's not a loaded free agent class. And if he was to play it that way, and based on what just happened with Pete Alonso, I can see
Alonso was coming off a way worse year than whatever permutation you can come up
Alonso did come off a year where he hit one of the biggest home runs in Mets' recent history and felt like he became a undoubtable pillar of what their future needed to be.
They obviously hated his guts there.
Yeah,
all along.
Yeah, and they think the wheels are going to fall off. And you as a Blue Jays fan better hope that whatever information they have on him that made them so reluctant plays out in Baltimore, because if he's Pete Alonso of last season in Baltimore, that's a scary lineup.
No, anyway, he's criminally underrated.
I hate the idea that there is this doomsday of I wish this was Corbin Burns, where you're competing with the Arizona Diamondbacks like you are with Alex Bregman, where the stakes don't feel so incredibly high. Because if the Jays don't sign Cody Bellinger, if they don't sign Kyle Tucker, I'm not going to be distraught because there are other plans. And if they sign Alex Bregman or Bo Bichette, like, I will overall be happy with the offseason. They will spend a lot of money. I'm confident in the group that they have. But the idea of losing out on another marquee free agent to the Los Angeles Dodgers of all teams, it would do something to me, and I think to a lot of fans, that would feel materially different than any other outcome that could possibly transpire this offseason, outside of maybe the Yankees getting them.
I still don't see it. Again, you're right, second half, but there were injury concerns. There were reasons for that.
I'm just saying, when people say the Dodgers are lurking, I can't stop thinking about Jim Bowden telling me the team to be afraid of is the team that nobody likes to really talk about, or the team that's doing their business in silence. I think back to that Passan article where the Dodgers changed their motto to "Let's be pigs." Yeah. Let's just get greedy, go after everything.
I think Bo Bichette makes a lot more sense for the Dodgers, like as a guy who maybe wants to, hey, you know who you
reset
mentioned
value.
Yeah, guy who could be at the top.
That would sting too.
Yeah, I think that would sting a lot, perhaps more.
Could you imagine a World Series rematch, but Bo Bichette's on the other side?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
like Teoscar Hernandez when they were doing the introductions.
Of course.
And I was standing on that side, like behind the Dodgers dugout. And when they announced Teo, my real thought was, I didn't think it was going to hurt this bad to see him do this. And it hurt bad. And then once the series started, I kind of forgot about it. Yeah. But in that moment, when he was walking down, giving high fives, and the Jays fans actually cheered him, I went, ouchie.
Yeah.
Bo, I feel.
And he was not drafted and developed and a
that's
part
what I'm
of the
saying.
furniture.
It's like Bo, I feel way closer to.
And I think that's a way more realistic possibility. Just a positional need at second base, and a guy that could probably use the shorter term, higher AAV with the opt out, and having a full Bo Bichette 162 game season, playing good, like improved defense at a lesser demanding defensive position, and having 120 RBIs hitting in that lineup with his 190 hits in the National League.
My God, Bo hitting behind.
Yeah, no, that's Shohei. The scenario. That's the Kyle Tucker, and then you can sleep soundly at night on your pillow having the Kyle Tucker of it all, but knowing that looms, and of course the Dodgers are at Rogers Center in April too, so you'd have to get over it pretty quickly. But yeah, that's a more realistic
I would not be over
scenario.
it by then. I certainly would not be. Would you agree with this then too? Because I was thinking about this. The Tarek Skubal thing is still looming over the season, and I am just. It's so funny to root hard for an American League team to sign a guy rather than the Dodgers acquire him. Mm-hmm. And you and I joked about how Glasnow, they promised me that I wasn't going to be a part of it, as though there's any reality where the Tigers called and said, yeah, we want Glasnow as a part of the deal. And the Dodgers would be like, well, we promised. Like, bye. Bye-bye. See you later. Yeah. He's gone. He's out the door. But I can't help but feel like the Dodgers getting none of Tarek Skubal, I'm doing this. Kyle Tucker, Tarek Skubal, or Bo Bichette feels.
Yeah, not realistic.
Yeah.
No, they're getting a guy.
Yeah.
Or a reunion with Cody Bellinger. But Bellinger might be back there as well.
That would be the number one choice.
Yeah.
Even though he's good, and yes, he would augment their team and all the stuff about Cody Bellinger. Great. If that was the Dodgers' move out of all the scenarios, you would sign up for that today, going like, yep, give him the money.
Yeah, very weird. That would be very weird after the way it ended for him the first time around, after the MVP and just falling off a cliff and then rejuvenating his career. But yeah, no, Bo Bichette feels like a real scenario. And of course, the Yankees are that was the other report over the last couple of days. I keep wanting to say weekend because it feels like a Monday, although it's not.
Yeah, I know. I had the same thing today where I went, oh man, what am I going to do on? I went, whew.
Yeah, I can get used to these one-day weeks. Though.
Yeah, no, I think I would be awesome 1 day a week.
Yeah. Same pay, just 1 day a week.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to move to the Raptors because I've got McKee. We're going to do basically a little Leafs talk catch-up at the top at 10. My Raptors thought that I've come back to, well, it's kind of a two-part thing. One is it's weird to watch a team that I feel like you can't bet them to beat the Brooklyn Nets or the Washington Wizards with confidence. Mm-hmm. And yet every team they play, outside of clearly the top teams in the Western Conference, like if they play Oklahoma City, I think Oklahoma City is going to beat them. Mm-hmm. But in their own conference, there's no team that they face that I don't think they can't beat. And then
they're 0-for against the Knicks and Celtics.
I know, but I still don't get this feeling of if your Knicks are probably the scariest team matchup-wise for them, where I just look at it and go, man, this is tough. But they can beat just about anybody on any given night, and they can lose to just about anybody, and they are in a very weird spot. And to me, the real thought that I kept having was this. It actually kind of feels like Scotty Barnes is solidifying himself as a bona fide hit. The Brandon Ingram trade is flawed, certainly. It's not a perfect trade, given where the rest of the team seems to be at. And the fact that, listen, it's just a part of the reality is they did trade away that Pacers pick. They didn't know it at the time, but that is going to turn out to be a far more valuable pick than they anticipated being. But that Ingram and Barnes feel like a real duo. But the rest of the team around them feels like overall a pretty big miss. Quickly has moments. It's fine. I don't think that he's worth the $32 million that he's getting every season. The Pirtle contract is astoundingly bad now, considering that they re-signed him this past offseason when there was really no urgency to. The RJ thing now is starting to feel weight to it, where they're not as good without him, and yet he doesn't really seem to quite fit. And the idea of paying him a big contract doesn't make any sense. And yet trying to move him in a market that's going to be flooded with guys who I think are slightly better or in the category of RJ Barrett is going to be quite difficult. Mm-hmm. And then the depth pieces, I really like Colin Murray-Boyle. Yeah. And he was awesome again the other night in that game that they lost at the buzzer. Where
he was the only one that nobody from the bench hit a three.
He was playing with 5 fouls and he was getting good rebounds.
Started the second half.
I like his game and I can see what the future is with him. I like him. I think he's quality.
Yeah.
Jacoby Walter plays some solid defense, but I never feel like he's going to knock down a 3 when he's wide open. Grady Dick, it's like watching him get blown by over and over and over again and then not shoot 45% from 3 is
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah.
Shed is good,
Yeah.
but it's not like it's not like the very beginning of the season with Shed, where you felt like, oh man, is this guy going to be truly one of the better bench players in the NBA? I look at the team as a whole. Mamu has regressed. It's fine. Like, he's a good bench piece. But the pieces around Barnes and around basically the two guys that they have invested the most in, Ingram, it feels very flawed, and it feels very difficult to see a path forward in terms of what they're going to do exactly to be able to find whatever is that next step is going to be, considering the Pirtle contract is difficult, the Quickley contract is difficult. The good thing about the Quickley contract is, like, it stays at $32 million as the years go up. So right now you look at it and you say, like, man, Jalen Brunson only makes $4 more million than Emmanuel Quickley. That's dreadful. But moving forward, at least that thing should get a little bit more palatable. So somebody might be willing to take him. I don't really like the team around those two guys.
Yeah, my takeaway has been that the grace period's already over with them, right? Like, I'm surprised at how frustrating it's been, the losses without, 4 starters for the Nuggets and without the MVP.
That was a really bad one, man.
Yeah, and how frustrating the losses to the Wizards and the Nets have been. And, they're 4th in the East, and there was so much unknown after being a lottery team a season ago.
Yeah, but honestly, everyone is 4th in the East.
Yeah, I know.
Do you ever look at the standings?
Yes, but they've beaten the team that's 5th in the East, and they're a half game ahead of them.
Every team in the East is in 4th place right now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But they've beaten those teams, right? The Magic and the Heat and the Sixers and the Cavs, and we haven't seen the Pistons yet. That'll be interesting to see them. But we've seen the Knicks and the Celtics. But I'm surprised at how quickly it's gone from, all right, what is this team to, okay, we've seen it at their best and the long winning streak against the Tomato Cans and how good they can be to, like, there's no more, well, that's just the growing pains of a team trying to find its identity.
Well, and because when I did my season preview, I pointed out how many man games to injury they've had over the last few seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing the Pirtle thing anymore.
No.
Like, oh, well, when they get Pirtle back. No. And I watched Fred on his pod, or it was on Hello Welcome, it was on one of the two, where he's talked about how when they got Jakob Pirtle, pieces started to fall a little bit more into place. And it still feels this way with this Raptors team. Like, they can't rebound, and they desperately need him to do that. And he's a one of one on the roster. Like, they went out and signed Mo Bamba, for God's sakes. And the NBA community at large was like, this could be really good for them because guess what? They have nothing at center. Yeah. So they're desperate for a guy who can come in here and do this. I can't pretend like, well, when they get this guy back healthy, when he's an older, big guy with a wonky back and is just missing time and time and time and going, well, don't worry. You can't really judge them until you figure out the Pirtle piece going, no, man, the Pirtle piece to me is figured. He's in and out of the lineup.
Totally.
If you get him, it's great. If you don't, I don't want to hear you cry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's obviously the major area of need when it comes to the trade deadline and what you need to acquire, but you need, like, multiple pieces. Yeah, I don't think you can count on him at all.
Last one is the Leafs. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be quick on this one because I got more with Sammy. Mm-hmm. Do you want to do yours first?
Sure.
Love
Mark Savard, our former coworker, but and we've had perilously few moments during regular seasons where it's been panic point and you have to do something. I mean, Sheldon Keefe was kind of on the hot seat at times.
No,
but
it was nothing like where they've been at this year.
Yeah, so like, it's not something that I wish had happened before, but I was always curious, like, something urgent happening to this team, some level of accountability. God forbid it be with the players, but like somebody, would there be a direct result to that? And whether you think it's actually the strategy they're employing on the power play or whether it's just like, oh my God, yeah, no, there are consequences to our actions. They've looked like a different hockey team since then. And that third period yesterday, I get it, the Jets are like horrible. They're factually the worst team in the league now.
Yeah, and their goalie literally put it on a silver platter. It was like, here you go.
Are we sure Easton Cowan didn't touch that puck at all? No assist on that. Anyways. But yeah, no, that they just look so different. Mm-hmm. And it was something I've always been curious about. If there was just like the smallest semblance of, oh, no, something bad might happen if we play poorly. And something bad happened to I'm sure they liked Mark Savard. He's a pretty likable guy. But yeah, or they saw something bad happening to somebody. Yeah, that there's been a direct, whether it's a correlation or causation, whatever, it's been different.
They're 5 of 9 in the last 4 games.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
And I really don't think they win yesterday, if not for the Matthews goal.
Yeah, one goal
right
game
at the end of the period that makes it 4-3, and all of a sudden, like, the Jets have really blown it at that point.
Yeah.
You know, 4-2, they're sitting there going, it's fine.
Yeah.
Be able to protect this lead. 4-3, it really did, in the moment, feel like there's no way the Leafs aren't winning this game. And when they tied it at 4s, I went, I actually think they're going to run away with this now.
Mm-hmm.
There's the bad Domi penalty.
God.
And
then him, after he doesn't take the shot alone.
Yeah.
And then his next shift, he's like, I'm shooting all the pucks.
Yeah. And then clearly Mark Scheifele, most predictable thing on planet Earth after not being named to Team Canada, decides to go into hardcore mode.
Yeah.
And almost spoils the game if not for that hill to be saved.
Yeah.
But there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't know, like, I think there's other things than it's the Savard firing that have changed the Leafs over the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do more on that at the top of the hour. But the power play is just unquestionably looking different. This isn't a situation where they're getting some goals that, hey, well, they had that before, and these ones, this is the positive, water finding its level.
No.
This is just, over the course of a long season, the power play was in a horrible, horrible state of affair, and it clearly wasn't going to be that bad because of the talent. And look at it now. No.
Stuff happens on power plays now. Pucks move. Shots get fired.
Even some of them moving Matthew Nyes into the bumper spot.
Yeah.
And how effective he looks in that role, just flipping him and Tavares in terms of what they were asked to do has made a material impact on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, having a guy like Michelli out there, a real playmaker, a passer, he directly leads to one of the goals yesterday. All of a sudden, no one's bitching about Morgan Rielly being a part of the power play because it's working. And they're playing decisively. And they feel like they're coming downhill on you. And it really is astonishing to see that coaching change happen, because I think the initial reaction from fans was this. Hey, the power play has sucked, so it's hard to really feel too bad for Mark Savard, given that he was fired with being the head of one of the worst units in the NHL. Mm-hmm. But overall, it felt a bit scapegoaty, like, that'll do it. Mm-hmm. That'll fix the problem. Firing the power play coach. And yet,
that'll do it.
It's had a real impact. And there's just no way to say it is. And like maybe over the course of the year, they go back to.
No, but it's the eye test as
well.
Nah,
I don't think the power play is going to be as big of a sore spot for the rest of the year. I mean that's a pretty easy prediction to make considering how bad it was. But my guess is that, even if they're clicking at around 20% the rest of the season, you're going to feel materially different. My thought is this. So I watched that Senators game and I watched Troy Stecher afterwards, and I'm watching him lose his mind. And I saw a tweet from Bourne yesterday where it's Nylander up in the media box, and he's going, this makes me feel like an old man because I'm a little annoyed that this guy's wearing a tank top. And, overall, I really don't care. Like these guys, to me, you see some of the way that they dress showing up to games, and it looks a little foolish considering the record that they've put together and what they've been accomplishing over the course of the year when they've been slumping to show up and look like they're getting ready for Monaco. Like, okay. Like, you're not helping yourself. But overall, I just don't really have spicy takes on the ways guys dress. Just whatever. You see Troy Stecher and you see the way that he's playing right now. And that game against New Jersey, that third period where it looks like they're having fun and they're playing with real passion against the Winnipeg Jets last night. And you see the way that the crowd is reacting. A place that has been often called the library, and how do you get fans up off their feet? And how do you get fans to be engaged? And Oliver Stieg always comes on the show and is like, I was at the game and the fans wouldn't get up. And how hard is it to play when you're in front of those fans? Me. This fan base is dying for a team that works their ass off and players who work their ass off. I like Auston Matthews, and granted, the way that he's played over the last week is changing the narrative about his breaking the goal record, because that he just kind of limped in, gotten in the back door, and the Leafs not pushing for a playoff spot. To me, it would have been honestly a non-story. No one's talking about it. I'm not having talks with fans being like, what are you going to, like, Matthews, we've already known this for a long time, so that's a part of it, right? Is that this was inevitable. This wasn't like a build. It's not even like Ovechkin, where there were moments of doubt. This is going to happen 100% year one of his career.
Right.
So it's not as exciting, and he hasn't had the successes. And there's a lot of different layers to it that go beyond this season, but I really didn't feel as though this is something that is a tentpole moment for the Toronto Maple Leafs and their fans. And I'm like, am I going to look back on this season and remember it more for Troy Stecher than I am for Auston Matthews becoming the number one goal scorer in Toronto Maple Leafs history?
Mm-hmm.
And at this moment in time, I kind of think I might.
Yeah. It might be both, though, because Auston Matthews might be back.
That's it. So
he's back.
But I'm doing that with McKee. That's
he's back.
Yeah, but I just can't help but think about how, listen, man, Matthews might be back, and that's a huge feather in their cap. Nylander's season started great. Same with Tavares, started great, really cooled down.
Mm-hmm.
Just my personal feel, everyone in the city's afraid to comment on the Stars because they're tired of being blamed for the run Stars out of town thing. And even if someone tweets it about Marner, my guess is that a lot of people see that and go, like, they get flustered by it, right? It's one of those things where it kind of stings and you're tired of being blamed as a fan. But with this group of players, as talented as they are, people are ready to just say, yep, you know what? We just want to see a team full of guys that care, work their asses off, and give something back to the fan base the way that Troy Stecher did in that moment against, like, the goal yesterday was great.
Yeah.
The energy that he plays with is phenomenal. Yeah. But to have a guy play the Ottawa Senators who wasn't even in the playoffs last year against them, be the one who's, like, really pumped up after they beat that team and feels like the rivalry between the two means something, like, that means as much to the fans as literally any fancy goal that you could score right now.
Yeah, no doubt. It feels like this is a conversation we've had so often. It's just like players having a sense of what it's like to be a fan.
Yeah.
And what fans are looking for, because it's so easy.
Just
it's
give an
not
honest,
hard.
just give an honest effort and show a little passion on the ice.
Yeah.
And guess what? You got two of the loudest, most engaged crowds that you've had all season long, and the fan base was super pumped up. And like, people make fun of Leaf fans for being weather vanes, and I totally understand that. I'm guilty of it as well. I put my hand up they'll play poorly, and I go, yeah, it's got to go down to the studs. And then they have a week like this, and I go, well,
if they're going to score on 50% of their power plays and get a 920 save percentage.
But the one thing that I am just so certain of is people are fully exhausted and done with the passionless hockey, and then being met with, well, would you give up on the talent? Well, would you really do such a move as to give up on such a... And you go, yeah, I think I would. I think I would. If you're talking about the DNA change, I think I would go deeper if it resulted in being able to watch more of an honest effort every single night and feeling like your dollar is being counted towards people that appreciate it.
Yeah, but they've looked like that team more often than not.
Now,
it's crazy.
That's it.
Man, that third period and the amount of energy that they played with it yesterday, I was not... That Washington game wasn't 100 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how different that team looked. Granted, Jets, understood.
Yeah, and Jets and Devils might be bad, but either way, it doesn't diminish, like, when you're watching it.
Yeah.
This wasn't just, again, like, and there were bad moments in that Jets game.
Yeah.
It's funny, too, because Matthews finishes with the hat trick. That game starts off with him taking a horrible change and then being on the ice for the second goal against.
Right.
And I'm going, he's going to get nailed for this game. Mm-hmm. And instead, it ends up being like a truly heroic game for Matthews, the game of the season, the one that turns everything around from him from a narrative standpoint heading into the goal chase.
Yep.
Anyway, people want to see a hardworking team. This isn't rocket appliances to anybody, but it is something that feels more real than it ever has in terms of, I think, the amount of people who are just tired of the nights where they're like, oh, we just didn't have it. Yep. Okay, we're done with that. Anyway, quick break. We'll come back, and I want to talk to you about the other stuff that we watched over the holidays. So So I think that I'm part of a fairly active family that does quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent the last 2 weeks doing a lot. A lot with family, a lot outside the house. But this is also the season, you living in Canada especially, of you rot with your loved ones and crush entire shows. Certainly movies. We didn't really do a lot of Christmas movies. We tried to watch Christmas Vacation. We didn't try. We watched quite a bit of it. But overall, we actually dove into the shows and movies that were hot over the holidays.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to talk to you about Pluribus.
No, you weren't. And so I just want to say this right now. I'm not going to do any spoilers, obviously, okay? Like, even though I think the vast majority of people at this point, if you haven't seen some of these things, I'm kind of like, well, you know.
Yeah.
You did have all holidays to consume these things, but I will be respectful. I'm not going to spoil anything. But I just wanted to quickly recap some of the things I watched, the four most notable things, and give you a little rating and then a take.
Okay.
Knives Out movie. Did you watch it?
Didn't.
I watched it.
Yeah, I can't believe it feels like the most recent one was just last year.
It was a couple of years ago, but they have certainly decided that they're going to be doing these things on release dates that are around the holidays.
Sure.
So people watch them, and we did that where we saved it for a family at Christmas. 5 out of 10.
Yeah, kind of what I thought the last one was.
Just like,
one was great. The first was so
that's
good.
The thing. One was so good.
Yeah.
That you would have thought that they would be able to take this character and, you know, Daniel Craig would be able to blow it out over the course of it just didn't move. And the whole time I'm watching it, I was like, yeah, I just don't really care who did it in this situation. And it's got like a lot of really powerful cameos. Like it's a loaded staff, right? Like Jeremy Renner's in it. And
cool.
Yeah.
That doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, just.
Is that why you liked Happy Gilmore too? Because all the cameos?
Yeah, that's what I mean is I think it's done.
Yeah.
I think after 2 misses of Knives Out movies.
No. That's where you're wrong. And it's the same thing with Happy Gilmore too. I'm sure that did bananas numbers for Netflix.
Oh, it definitely did bananas numbers. I'm just saying that.
And isn't he under contract, Ryan Johnson, for like 1 million of them?
I don't know, but I'm just going to say right now that this is no longer, this is out for now on the family tradition. I'll watch the next one on my own and go like, okay. It's just I love a whodunit, right?
Sure.
I really do. But this also made me realize a little bit that TV series have really hurt the movie whodunit genre. Because when you're sitting down and you want to watch one of these and you get like I watched a show this year called Department Q. It was one of the best shows I watched all season or all year. And when you can flesh out like the detectives and the case and they're doing it over an 8-episode series, miniseries, and you know you're going to get a resolution. Mayor of Easttown was another example of this, where it's like you flesh out the town, you feel like you're being dropped into the scenario. There are weird twists and turns where you want to know kind of who did it. That when you're watching it be like a cameo-filled movie like this, it just feels meh. And it leaves me feeling kind of like cold. And I would say there were 7 of us that watched the movie together. I think 3 fell asleep during it.
You know what? It's weird because it used to be the opposite where it was like, hey, the movies feel important. But now I think you're right because of the amount of time you put into it and the long, drawn-out nature of the TV shows. It feels more important, the reveal, because you've been waiting for longer.
And they just do it better, and you have more time to digest it with people and really come up with theories. And like, it's hard to have remember how important Usual Suspects felt growing up in terms of like a whodunit being like, man, this blew my mind. Now I just don't feel that way watching a lot of movies, but certainly not these.
Verbal Kent was Kaiser Soze. We can spoil that one, right?
Oh, boy. Someone is devastated. Yeah, if you haven't seen Usual, I think that movie came out in 1994, so that's on you. Stranger Things, I tried to jump back into it. I don't know how many years Stranger Things, I know you didn't watch this, has been off.
I watched the first season, that was it.
Yeah, and the first season was excellent. They're all still supposed to be in high school, but they're like really old.
Yeah.
And it's kind of jarring to see them show up in a season and be adults. And it loses a lot of the feel of what the show was supposed to kind of be. And I get it. If you're Gen Z, you probably feel very differently about it because it's probably like more of a coming of age show for you. But jumping back into it, it had been so long that I completely forgotten essentially everything to do with Stranger Things. So I I watch movies with my mom, and she's infuriating at times because she's the big question asker for things that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
I think I was worse because I'm supposed to know.
Yeah.
So I'm like asking my sister and like, and what's this guy and where did they leave off? And didn't they kill this guy like 4 different times and now he's still back? And what's happening here?
Yeah.
I just felt so lost. I was out of it. And I will just say that I don't really think they landed the plane on this. Like it's a big show and it was important to, I think, a lot of people, more so Gen Z. I would give Stranger Things a like C+, B- grade on that last season. It was hard for me to watch.
You did 5 out of 10 on the Knives Out. Now you're doing letters. You're doing numbers or letters.
I just it was just like a 6.8. I can't even give it a 7. It was just like meh.
All right, so that's 2 things that I didn't watch because I didn't think they were.
You want me to go with the positive one or the I got another negative one.
Yeah, of course you do. I know the negative one.
Yeah, I know.
We've talked about that already. Do the positive. What was the thing
Pluribus
that you enjoyed?
is amazing.
So good. I will say one criticism without a spoiler is, and like all of these shows, there's a stretch there, and one episode in particular with the Darien Gap thing. Like, what are we doing? Like the 7th montage of the exact same thing. Like we probably ease up there. Like probably make it less obvious that you had to fill an episode where you didn't have a ton. Like I love the idea, and I love the wondering where it's going. That episode was very slow.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this, and there's no way to not sound douchey about it. Pluribus made me think more than a show has in a very long time.
Yeah, no, it's a great show
because it forces you to.
Yep.
And you are part of the isolation, and the way that it moves slowly that's the point of that season.
There's slowly, and then there's like again just one episode, and basically.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just saying that it made me think about a wide variety of topics.
Yes.
And reflect on a few of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I would say for television watching wise, fairly deeply. Mm-hmm. And I was very invested in the characters. I'm very invested in the idea.
It's a great show.
My criticism is I love prestige TV, but where we've gotten, where we do these shows and we got to wait 3 years between seasons, I just, like, at what age do you become where you just go, sorry, this is 4 seasons of an Apple TV prestige show? I can't start this. I won't live to see the end. Like, I think if I was in my mid-70s and Pluribus was starting, I'd go, I'll catch it if I make it.
Yeah.
I'll watch all 4 seasons. Yeah, I'll watch all 4 if I make it to the end. But I'm not starting this without knowing that I have them all. Because, like, Vince Gilligan goes, like, I'm in no rush. Yeah. And we haven't even started production. And I go, you can't move this slowly and make me wait 3 years for the next one and then just be like, thank you, Daddy. Thank you, Papa. So anyway, I think we've gone a little too far with prestige TV in terms of the gaps between in which we are willing to wait. The last thing I watched quickly, I'm just going to say, I think if you liked one battle after another, I would like you to explain to me what it is that you liked about it. Because you tried, and you were like, mush mouth, oh, Benicio, is it? Yeah, he's here for 5 minutes. It's horrible. And some people would look at it and be like, I kept seeing this criticism about it being super liberal and that some people didn't like how woke it was. I didn't feel that at all. Like, I didn't have any moments where I felt like it was a too politicized movie or that they were trying to, like the one Leo did a couple before that, the Netflix movie, the Don't Look Up. I never watched that because I went like, yeah, I don't really want to be preached to about the Hollywood guys who were on yachts and private jets about global warming. Like, your carbon footprint is significantly more impactful than those of us who fly for a vacation once a year on a plane rammed full of people. Thanks, though. Thanks, but keep it to yourself, Leo. I'm at a loss with this movie. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just not smart. Maybe I'm just some big bozo. People are going to cry. I know you crybabies are going to come to me for this one. That movie is a 0 out of 10. A flat out 0. Sean Penn, some redeeming moments from him in that movie. I thought that the girl actress was, like, the young actress was quite good. But as a movie as a whole, I was like, that sucked out loud. And anybody who tells me different needs to tell me why that was good, because it sucked. And sneaky thing, I told you this already, I got to wrap up. But Leo's IMDb page, like, the last 10 years have been Killers of Flower Moon, that movie, the Don't Look Up, and then a Quentin Tarantino movie, which was great. Like it's becoming. It'd be nice to have a good Leo movie again. The mid 2000s are over. Anyways, thanks, Ben Ennis. We'll see you later. Sam McKee is next. If you're a fan of Leafs Talk, which is back tomorrow night, by the way, thank you to all of you that sent me messages saying, "Get back to work, you lazy bum." First time I've ever taken this much time during the holidays. Wasn't even a full 2 weeks. Lazy bum. Rude. Very rude. But if you're a fan of the show, then you know one of the themes is that there's been really bad hockey this year. We've started a lot of the episodes going, like, almost laughing, saying we have a full season of this. It had gotten to a point with some of them where, God, I actually can't believe that I watched as many Leaf games as I did during the break. Again, the only one that I missed was the Penguins, because I just needed a break from this team. I could not do it anymore. Like that. This is as I know this is just crybaby stuff, but this is the hardest season that I can remember doing in a very long time. Even tank season, there was at least some hope on the horizon, and this one was a slog. And there were some nights where we were doing the show and it was a slog. And then we go away, and all of a sudden the Leafs put together their most exciting 5-game stretch of the entire season, and which we did no Leafs talk. So Sammy and I are going to catch up on some of these games right now. He joins me over Zoom because he's too Hollywood to come in studio. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Hollywood?
Yeah.
Listen, I don't have to be there for 4 more hours.
Yeah, I know.
And we have the technology now that I can just do it this way. And I will say, being on the other side of this is weird, because I send these requests all the time for Kipper and Bourne, and people come on Zoom all the time.
Yeah.
So, like, to be on the other side of it is weird. But
your lighting looks fantastic.
Well, it always does, but
Listen,
you know me. I will say, though, the audience that have been reaching out to us, they know me well, because what? Okay,
they're killing it right now. What do you got?
Crushed it. No, just that my guilty conscience. I have one of the more guilty consciences in the world, and I have been led by our audience into full guilt mode. Like, I felt guilty last night watching the game. I felt guilty this morning. Like, they've got to me. I am guilty conscious. Boy, you're not. You're great. You've never had a guilty conscience one day in your life. And they're like my mom right now. The audience is my mom, just making me feel guilty. Travel agents.
Listen,
guilt trip.
It's made me go the other way, where I see those tweets, I get those messages, and I'm like, I'm never coming back. I'm going to go live in the woods. I'm going to go Ted Kaczynski, get a cabin, and just hang out there by myself for the rest of the days and not do the show anymore. Okay, so we have to start with this, which is just simply the Matthews part of this is crazy. Like,
what's the crazy part?
Well, just
that he looks good again?
Over the last 3 games, he has completely validated all the criticisms that have gone on over the entirety of the season. His last 3 games. So, Mike Kelly, he puts together the numbers, right? His shot attempts, his ozone touches, his goals per game, his slot chances, every one of these stats has basically doubled or even more than that over the course of these last 3 games. And it's funny, especially yesterday, I mentioned this to Ennis just briefly, and I had texted with you about it when we were watching the game, how that game started off like a complete nightmare for Matthews. They're missing him. They look amazing against Jersey. It's one of the most entertaining games of the year. He comes back, he takes a bad shift, and then he's on the ice for the second goal against, and I'm going like, oh boy, this narrative's going to turn real quickly. Then he ends up with the hat trick. I kind of feel like something changed for him in the game where he threw up the ear, and he told the crowd basically to suck it and get loud. And we ended up going like, hey, man, you've been bad. What have you been doing? All of a sudden, he has at least injected a little bit of hope back, I think, into this organization and into this fan base that he can still be the guy.
When was that game with the ear?
Who was
that against?
That was
regardless of who was against.
But it was
it was
over 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah. So I think a lot of this has to go into just, whatever's wrong with him or whatever's not wrong with him. I think the natural Christmas reset and, the firing of a coach that's on your bench, regardless of who it is, if it's the head coach, if it's whatever, I think that the natural feeling of, holy crap, somebody lost their job. We better wake up a little bit here, regardless of who it is. As a person that's on the bench every day, it's a guy that's around the team every single day, a guy that's at practice every day. Maybe it was enough of a wake-up call for him to go from, a bit of a malaise and in the dog days of a season to, holy crap, there's got to be some accountability here and we got to start playing better. And after all, I am the captain of the team. So there's that one side of it, or maybe he's just feeling more healthy after the Christmas break or whatever. But I thought last night in particular, I mean, I was watching the game sparingly over the break, if I'm being honest. I watched highlights, but didn't watch the games in their entirety until the Jersey game. But last night, I was like, this is a new guy. I mean, he looked like he has looked in years past. And for a team that has been at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, and when I looked at it today, have climbed up a little bit, which is a nice sight, not to see them at the very bottom anymore. It's a welcome sight. I'm really happy about this. Like, I was sick of having the conversations every single day. I'm sure as were you. Like, what's wrong with him talk again? Great. Like, can't wait to do that conversation again. What's wrong with Auston Matthews? Is he hurt? Does he hate the coach? Blah, blah, blah. It would just be awesome if he is somewhat of a version of Auston Matthews again. And last night was the most vintage Auston Matthews he's looked all year. Pucks following him around, dogging on the forecheck, lifting sticks, going to the net, shooting it hard. It was awesome to see. So I don't really know where we're at. I think it maybe had to do with Savvy losing his job and it's a bit of a wake-up call. That's kind of where I'm at on it.
So, yeah, I talked to Ennis about it a little bit, the power play. They're now 5 of 9 in the last 4 games. They moved Nyes to the bumper spot, and they took Tavares. They basically said to Tavares, no more fadeaway jumpers.
DeRozan, you're done.
Yeah, they put him in the dunker spot. They're like, no more DeRozan. Like, you're catching alley-oops only, baby. Like, that's it for you. And it has had a huge effect. There's also been a bunch of different guys who are getting power play time, and Nylander being out for this stretch, I think it's going to be a point of curiosity when he comes back. If the power play does look the same, if the energy does look the same when they've got all the dudes back in action, when he has to put the tank top away and actually get back out on the ice.
But I can't do it today. Like, I'm just for my first day back. I can't go full uncle, but I'm like, just have some respect for the game, bro. Throw on a suit jacket and a tie. Anyways,
that is truly testing the limits. Like, so
you're in the National League.
Well,
dude.
So I would say that out of every one of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Nylander has the most hardcore fan base, right?
The Neanderthals, I think so, yeah.
Even
Stetcher's up there. Troy's Boys are up
Troy's
there.
Boys now the hottest thing going. Like, yeah, like Anna Duo is tweeting about it. Troy's Boys. It's a phenomenon. But no, Troy has the biggest approval rating. There's no doubt about it. But I think even the most ardent Neanderthal, the most hardcore Neanderthal, looked at that and went, yeah. Yeah. Like, why do you got to do that? Yeah.
I can't.
So, but there's just a couple of those changes. And that to me is where I look at it and go, I don't know if that's what's triggered Matthews, the urgency part of it, them firing somebody and them losing a job had some overall massive impact. But what I will say is, like, it really does show you how desperately they just needed not just personnel changes, but strategy changes. And that, this actually did have a pretty massive impact. If you're someone that believes in this roster and did all along, like, I would say Borney was more in this category, right? Where he was blaming more Berube. He was blaming more, not the personnel. He kept looking at the roster saying, this is a good team. It's not the best team, but it's a good team. That the biggest point of encouragement, and probably the thing that I think kind of keeps the pressure on Berube if they do go back into a slide, is like, now we've seen sort of a bit more of a proof of concept of these players where Matthews is looking like himself, where you can point to coaching and say, yeah, this actually might have really hurt this group.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think the pressure is definitely on Berube even as much. Like, you think of a winning streak. I mean, how many points did they get out of the games that we were off? Did they get 9 of 10?
Yeah, 9 of 10.
That we were off?
9 of 10.
That's amazing. But
buddy, if they lay an egg on Saturday night, we are going to eat it in the comments.
Did you follow the Meow Mix thing with the Carolina Panthers at all? Where their podcast, they were like, we're never doing a podcast ever again.
Yes, I did see
and then they
that.
turned it around.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're Meow Mix if they lose on Saturday night. Like, we had to cancel it. But I like your point that the pressure is ramped up even more because they made a significant change. They did some personnel change on the power play. They put my boy Michelli up there, who, maybe should have been in the press box for 10 games or however many games in a row that he was. It's like this guy clearly has ability and he has a function on this team. He's one of the team's best 12 forwards. So I like your point about that. There are some things here that if this starts to slide again, it just goes right back onto him. I don't think them moving up to 4, what are they now? 4 spots out of the last playoffs, 4 points in the last playoff spot. I don't think it's really changed perspective on Berube for me.
Yeah. So, and kind of to that same point, okay, they're not going to get 9 to 10, and that's not the bar that they need to be playing at. But if they are going to make the playoffs, pretty much everybody has said it's going to take about 95 points. Leafs are going to have to play about 10 games over 500 the rest of the way if they're going to be able to do that. So banking these points right now was massively significant in terms of changing the bar. Like if they just, even if they only collect 6 of the 10, it's just not enough. They've got to play at a completely different pace for the rest of the season. But I think your feeling was similar to mine with the Savard signing, where you went, well, you can't really say that it wasn't fair, given that the unit had performed so badly. But it did really feel like a Band-Aid on a bullet wound, where you went, okay, you're going to fire the power play coach and you're going to promote Steve Sullivan, and that's going to change the feeling around what has been one of the most disappointing seasons in over a decade. Come on, give me a break. And now you start to evaluate this to the kind of close the Berube point of the loop of, well, maybe some of the pressure is off some of the other guys. Maybe there is more pressure on Berube. Maybe there is going to be the thinking of, well, I know it's their third coach, but you're going to be able to compare it to some other places around the league and say, this is kind of new modern hockey, and that maybe someone who did have a different mind for more possession, which they've been playing more with, by the way. So, that shouldn't be lost on anything here. This isn't just a power play thing. This is also a shift in possession change. That if it goes back in the toilet and they start to look like the Leafs from all the games we did on Leafs Talk and none of the games that we didn't do on Leafs Talk, I think that there has to be way more of an impetus for Brad Treliving to say, okay, we did the one minor move. Now we're making a more significant one and trying one last time with the core. Because they're proving that they have talent. And when Matthews is like this, they look pretty good.
Definitely. And I think a huge change in what I've seen from the games pre-break and post-break, well, I guess during break, is that they just are playing with so much more passion, buddy. Yep. These games are just so much more lively, and these guys seem so much more engaged. And that's where I go back to the point about a guy losing his job that you're around every day, and that's a bit of a wake-up call. But, yeah, I mean, I know Matthews isn't playing in that New Jersey game, but I think that was everybody's favorite game of the season. I mean, I talked to a million Leaf fans. Everybody's loved that game. Last night was incredible. I mean, it's not exactly a Mona Lisa. You're not going to be, beating the Jets 6-5 with maybe the worst goaltending performance I've ever seen from Eric Comrie. You're not going to really write
that required a 10-bell save at the very end from Dennis Hildeby. Yeah.
Oh man, imagine the narrative about Scheifele scoring the hat trick, tying goal the day after he got snubbed from Team Canada. It would have been great narrative. But yeah, they just look better to me. And for I'm not going to say they're back. I'm not going that far, but I just have a bit of belief that they may be able to dig themselves into a playoff race. Whereas before I was like, are they going to be able to dig themselves into the basement? The Sabres I take a break and the Sabres are now the best team in the league, and everybody's below them now. So anyways, it's just, I think to go back to it, Berube is really still on the hot seat here in terms of this has to stay hot. And if they miss the playoffs this year and he's behind the bench, he's probably not going to be coaching the Leafs next year.
Yeah, no, I think that if they miss the playoffs, he's 100% gone. There's no scenario for me where they miss and he's still there. I think the more interesting question is what happens over these next few weeks ahead of the Olympic break and how they look going into that.
The schedule coming up is it's gettable until they head out on the road.
Yeah.
Right? It's Islanders, Panthers at home, Flyers, Canucks. And then they head out Colorado, at Mammoth, at Golden Knights, at Jets, Wild, Red Wings, Golden Knights, Avalanche, Sabres, who are the best team in the league. It's really, you're about to find out. I know, Sabres, man. No. Sabres. It's crazy. But you're about to find out after this little stretch, once they head out on the road, they've had some Western road trips over their years that have sewered their seasons.
Yeah.
And this definitely could be one that it goes both ways. They could definitely get more points this week, but if they head out to Colorado and you lose that one, you lose at the Mammoth, you're heading in against Mitch, and it could go sour in a hurry.
The narrative around the Marner game, if you head into that and you've lost 2 straight, and then you lose a game where Mitch Marner gets 3 points, then it's back into full this was a waste of a season mode.
Not looking forward to Mitch Marner month here because they play both their Vegas games coming up.
So this is the other point, and I same thing. This was my overarching feel coming out of the break. Before Matthews kind of like grabbed the narrative yesterday with the hat trick. Like, how could he not? Because now this is a sample of his last 3 games where he's played really well and the team's winning, and it's the first time where it really felt like Matthews put the team on his back when they needed him, and that's sort of what. That's what every team needs, okay? Like, if you're going to win games, the guys that are paid the very most money on your team are going to have performances where they just completely take over and dominate. And this season was supposed to be more about, hey, like, they've got more depth throughout the lineup that can help Auston Matthews take some pressure off. But it ended up being the worst of both worlds, where for large stretches, the guys around the fringes didn't look very good, and neither did Matthews, and that's how you got what you got, right? Injuries aside. Now it looks like some of it has been coming together a little bit. Like, Wool gets chased last night, but still, you feel good about the goaltending. You feel like the blue line at least has been able to endure the injuries to a certain degree. I don't think that they can play Myers anymore, but how many times have you and I said that, and they keep doing it? So, like,
a lot of Myers, man.
It's too much Myers. And
so much Myers.
Well, I would say, so how many shifts of Myers do you think is too much Myers? Because I would say one. Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately. And he's had moments where, I mean, I dubbed Myers Island. I've had moments where I've thought that he can contribute, but it's just been way overexposed this year. They've just had to play him way too much, and it's just gone so bad. Like, there's no way Matt Benning or Thrun or whoever the hell else they're going to call up, the Villeneuve, the race car driver, whoever they call up from the Marlies, there's simply no way it's worse than Myers. But outside of that, I think
just look how much better Dakota Mermis was.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that he was like, I was upset when they lost Dakota Mermis long term because it's like, oh my God, how are you going to replace? Oh no, you're going to have to play It basically all just comes back to Myers having to play Myers extended period, and it just sucks with the Tanev thing because it just feels like that's a guy at the end of his career where no matter what happens, he's going to get hurt for long periods of time, and they kind of like just gotten everybody back healthy, and he goes out, so that sucked.
So I was going to do my other main thing that I covered a little bit with Ben, but since you mentioned it, let's just do that now. The other story that we missed that I think is very important is I don't know what we're going to be able to count on the rest of the contract for Tanev. Like, that's how significant that injury was. Is like, he's had 2 head injuries this season, and now it's a groin that is going to leave him out for a while. He just stepped back out on the ice. This is the second time this season where he's come back, and he's got hurt within a week of playing. And he's obviously someone that everyone is desperate to just see play games. And when he's out there, you're going to feel like he's important. But I got to say, I'm a little surprised that we're already at this point with him, that most people agreed that contract, when he signed it, what was it, for 5 years or for 6?
I think it might be 6.
I think it might be 6 as well. I think people were thinking, man, you could be paying this deal the last 2-3 years of it where it's no bueno. I think we've actually already reached that point now.
6-year, $27 million contract.
Yeah.
4.5 AAV.
Yeah, I think we're already there.
Yeah, so am I. And it sucks. They got him 2 years too late.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they could have got him that year when I came on Leafs Talk and cried that they got Ilya Lyubushkin instead of him, and the Dallas Stars traded for him, and they got that playoff run with him, and then the Leafs signed him in the next offseason. The Leafs should have had that playoff run with him, another playoff run with him, and then you kind of hope at that point that, he doesn't get hurt or whatever. But the thing that scares me with him is his injuries always used to be freak injuries from blocking a shot with his head or like his hand or his foot, or like it was like broken foots or hands, facial injuries, all from being a Warrior. Now it's just like barely contact, concussions, groin non-contact. Like, it's just an old guy who's played 1 million hard games that is just coming home to roost here. That is just, it's Muzzin now, where it's at the end. It's a Warrior that's played hard, and he just doesn't have a whole lot left to give. Like, I see the world where he's got a groin. They said maybe out for the year, like, or whatever, out for a long period of time. Maybe they make the playoffs. They try to bring him back. You can see how it goes. He doesn't play well.
Yeah, but that's my point of actually where. Yeah. So anybody that's saying, hey, you're being too extreme with this bunk, like, yeah, it's a groin, but he could still come back next year.
It's just a sign of things to come.
No, it's just
clear.
What you just said there, though, about bringing him back for playoffs.
Yeah.
The idea that you're going to bring back Chris Tanev for the hardest games of the season, knowing the way that he plays.
Oh, yeah.
That's the part where I go, I don't believe you will get him for a full healthy playoff run. That just feels so impossibly difficult for me at this point to see. And that's where I say, man, the contract might be over because you sure you got him for regular season. You got to be able to make the playoffs. That's the whole thing about this year so far, as you look at it and go, right, you got to have the two different teams, right? Enough skill to get in, but then enough warriors to be able to battle and win in the postseason. And he was so important to the battle and win in the postseason element of it. And yet, yeah, that injury, and as soon as they revealed what it was, and then I saw how he got it, and I went, okay, so this is now twice in the same year in his mid-30s where he tried to come back and play hockey, and he had to leave pretty much immediately. The good news is whatever that surgery was that he was debating, maybe now he just has it because he's going to have the time off, and you're somewhat hopeful that a full year off and a full training camp, he can kind of get back to a place. But at this point, I just like the over-under on the years of you were going to get good Chris Tanev, now that one is out of them, is now firmly set at 1.5. Like you're hoping for one more good year of Chris Tanev, and I think asking for anything else is tough.
Can I pose a positive side of this?
Yeah.
Or like a positive example? Look at last season with Max Pacioretty. How many games did Max Pacioretty play last year?
Yeah.
35 games? 35 games, and we all thought he was done.
Yep.
And we had the conversations like maybe they'll try to bring him back for the playoffs, but we didn't think he was going to play again. And then he comes back in the playoffs, and clearly he's a forward. It's a defense. It's a different situation. But he's one of their key contributors in both rounds of those playoffs, scored multiple massive goals, including a series-winning goal against Ottawa. And he was kind of his last gasp. And then now he coaches at Michigan, so maybe it really is a example of what's to come with Chris Tanev. But for me, there is a way that you can have a last gasp and it can work. But the fact that we're talking about being a last gasp in year 2 of the 6-year contract sucks. Yeah, I mean, maybe a little Robert Island fairy for him. Like he's heading in that direction. But
yeah,
he's heading towards the skills coach for the Toronto Maple Leafs portion of his career.
Yeah. And to the Pacioretty point, he also played physical.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Most physical guy. He was like Mike Pekka all of a sudden.
Yeah. Like
just running guys over.
So like just to the Chris Tanev being like, well, is he going to be able to play his game? Well, Pacioretty did play his. The only thing is Pacioretty also ended up getting hurt before the playoffs and did have to come back. Like that is the way that it operated for them, right? And like here's actually the scary part to you is if you're going to make the Pacioretty comparison, Pacioretty now is 37 years old. Chris Tanev is 36.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The 37-year-old is
coaching.
Yeah, he's coaching at Michigan. So a year from now, when Tanev is supposed to return, is the year that Pacioretty in his life was coaching at Michigan.
Yeah, you were hoping worst case scenario, you're getting 3 years out of Tanev. Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
And it's like we're worst case scenario.
Yeah, now. Definitely. Okay, so here's my biggest takeaway from the entire time that we were off. And it's the most casual take ever, but that's what I was, as I was a casual. You and I were texting about this. I was like, nice to just watch the games and not being hyper-focused, taking notes. And I watched the Sens game with a couple of Sens fans, yelling in each other's faces and like laughing and mocking them about being their daddy. And it was just great to be able to touch that part of me again, where I was sitting there watching games with people rather than just me in the notepad and text with you and Borny and other people that are like in the Leafs vortex, right? Like that's my circle immediately is mostly vortex and 2 or 3 non-vortex fans that I text with during Leafs games.
Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
No. I was going to say, if you got a thought on that, you could be fine.
Oh, I just be like, yay, they won.
Yeah.
TV off.
Yeah.
Like,
no post game, like, no joke. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, they won.
Yeah, didn't have to go deliver a fiery take about how much I hated some guy's game tonight. Like, it was very nice. But that Devils game, to me, illustrated something completely different for where this fan base is at. Marner just left, and now people are in the zone of being terrified to criticize. And not that they haven't criticized Matthews this year, or Tavares now has taken some heat, and Matthews has all year long, Nylander, whatever. But the idea of losing a super skilled player and then Marner leaving and the way that this season started and the struggles on the power play, all of the different things, the Matthews drop off and wondering how much was Mitch Marner. Fans had to have that moment where they were like, we're sorry for being upset at you for losing all the playoff series. And even though like we really did nothing, like it's our fault. You know, you got to eat it.
Ugh.
So there's always going to be a little bit of a soft spot, a sore spot for Leaf fans that they are somewhat responsible for chasing talent away, right? Or rooting for when Burke came in and he talked about truculence and all this different stuff. And people, that's how history works, right? Is oftentimes you glamorize these golden years that were never there. And that's Leaf fandom to a T, right? Is like, oh, bring back the days of what exactly? Like we've never seen anything.
Getting to the conference finals.
Right, man. It's like that was 2002.
Yeah. Yeah.
2026.
Like that. I know, man.
Yeah.
I know. It's 2026. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Somebody born in 2002 is able to drink, I think. Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way able to drink.
They're 24 years old.
Extremely able to drink.
Yeah.
For 5 years.
Yeah. You can have cirrhosis at 24. Like, it's, you're in it. So, I watched that Devils game and I watched the way the crowd reacted. And I was pretty much off social media for the whole break. Like, I just didn't really want to do it. I had a couple moments where I was like, I'm going to tweet. And then I went, nah, you know, like I don't want to.
During the Czech Canada game, few Bud Lights deep, I was going to send some text. I was like, get the breathalyzer out.
Oh, buddy, I'm going to
get the breathalyzer out for your phone, bro.
I was the biggest unk who ever
Oh,
unked.
God, I know. I'm so bad with the juniors, man. I'm such a
I know.
guy.
I can't help myself.
Buddy,
I sent Books so many texts.
Oh, yeah. Books is just going to block my number.
Oh, yeah. He got eaten alive by me through that Latvia game was a debacle.
Didn't watch. It was Marianne's birthday.
Yeah.
So
again, if Team Canada doesn't get what I think was one of the worst calls in hockey history, they might have lost that game 1-0. Like, yeah, to Latvia, who, by the way, the next night.
Again, our daddy.
Yeah, but Latvia, but you know why? Because the Latvians play a tough, hard, gritty game, and Canada can't match that. They're like, let us play Finland. You know, let us play Sweden. We can do that. But we can't play against the team where they're laying on the line and they're just doing everything they can to win. They're blocking every single shot. They're playing tough. They're playing together. Leaf fans are done with the apathetic efforts. That they're starving to death for a team that is just hungry on pucks, generates opportunities in front of the net, guys who punch above their skis like the Troy Stetches of the world, or like the Nick Robertson who had that phenomenal game where it's like, yeah, man, you've been written off 25 different times and you're out here gutting it out in a hockey game, working your ass off to try to make something happen. I love Nick Roy. I think that he is quickly becoming like one of the most popular Toronto Maple Leafs. He's just on the undercurrent because Troy's Boys takes up so much space. The Matthews conversation takes up so much space. The Nylander conversation takes up so much space. That the underbelly of guys you absolutely unequivocally love, I'd be shocked to meet someone who was like, I don't really like Nick Roy. You know, like he's so fun to watch, but he works his bag off. And that game against the Devils where they worked that way, I thought, you know, I really do. I really think that this fan base is at a point where they're just way too sick of it. That if this team finds a way to kind of limp backdoor in, but it doesn't look legitimate, and they try to roll back the DNA change with the same three guys at the top, it's not going to operate the same way. And that the biggest pressure point now for this team moving forward to this next stretch is when Nylander comes back, do he and Matthews, as a combination of eating so many minutes, turn the team back into too much passive mode? Because it's impossible to ignore the way that Scott Laughton plays when he gets 17 minutes in a hockey game. It's impossible to ignore the energy that Nick Roy brought to this hockey team when he got extended minutes. And seeing those guys get to flourish with more ice time, knowing that a lot of that is going to go away and that you're going to start to see way more, 12-minute nights for guys like Scott Laughton, that to me is the next hurdle for this team. As good as this 5-game stretch has been, I want to see it with Matthews and I want to see it with Nylander both in the lineup, have all the rest of the guys still feel involved and not have stretches where they're going a full period where they just didn't really do anything or play with any type of passion or desire.
Totally agree. I mean, you're cooking there, buddy. Everything you said there is bang on. But I mean, one of my longtime takes that I've had for 5 years with this team is that the style of play and the style of guy that's at the top of this Leafs roster is one of the all-time bad matchups with Leafs Nation and what Leaf fans actually love, right? Like you go to a Leafs game and outside of the newer guys, what jerseys do you see the most of? It's Tucker, it's Domi, It's guys that it's Roberts. It's guys that were passionate, hard-nosed guys that just, we're willing to fight, we're willing to hit, we're willing to just work hard. I mean, that's what we like. I mean, that's what we've always liked. I mean, I have 2 Leafs jerseys with names. I have 3 Leafs jerseys with names on them. I have Luke Schenn, I have Darcy Tucker, and I have Matt Sundin. Those are the 3 guys that I have as jerseys with names on them. People just want that aggressiveness. Like, did you see that crowd pop when, I don't know who it was that Nick Waugh hammered along the boards after the guy hit Nick Waugh? Like, the crowd pop for that looked like they had scored a big playoff goal. People are just starving for that. You said it. It's just, it's an incredible thing to see what Leaf fans truly love. And when that game, how many texts do you get about, oh my God, this game was amazing. Everywhere I went, this game was amazing. I love this game. That game was the best. And it just was no flash, hard work, hitting, fighting. It's not that hard.
It's the first time all year. It's the first time all year that my phone has blown up.
In a positive way.
Yep.
Totally. That's exactly right. Totally agree.
Where I got a lot of, are you watching this texts?
Yeah. I was like,
and
well,
and
Washington Hole, so yeah.
Well, the take from everybody that I got was, this is who they need to be now. Get rid of everybody. Bring in just the passion guys.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that conversation. Like, I've seen what the power plays look like without Willie out there for 5 games. I'm like,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is one of the first times where I think that there's real pressure on Nylander. Like, he's wearing the tank top
and light it up.
Yeah, he's got to light it up.
But he doesn't feel it. He doesn't care.
No, I know he doesn't
feel
care.
This stuff. No.
But that's part of it is like, so, and this brings me to the last thing, which is the Troy Stecher, right?
Oh my God. Buried the lead, bro. Talk about burying the lead. Extend them.
So obviously there have been fan favorites, right? Like Tanev last year, huge fan favorite, but a pedigree player who was brought in to be Chris Tanev and who got a 6-year contract, even though he was 35 years old. Luke Schenn came back. We already had a relationship with Luke Schenn as a rookie, and it was sentimental, and then he was awesome in the postseason, right? I don't know if the Leafs have ever had a guy in like recent years who I can even compare this feeling to, of right place, right time, zero expectation, exceeding it to the absolute maximum, and having a 100% approval rating in the fan base. Like, I always do that bit of, could you imagine a person saying bad words about X, right? The Stecher one is now to the point where I think if you were at a Leafs game and if you were in the crowd and he had a turnover and you yelled out like, Stecher again, he stinks. The whole section would turn around. Everybody would look at you and be like, you're a goof. What's wrong with you?
Get out of here.
Yeah,
immediately.
I just, this guy, I don't even know how I'm losing words. Here's
what's
Bambi's word? Twitter-pated. I'm Twitter-pated where like watching him celebrate that Sens game and knowing that this team, like Lawton has it, right? Like Lawton's got that fire in his belly. He plays so damn hard. He's awesome to watch. But for Stecher to come in here and have no connection to this fan base, no connection to the city, like just has played in a bunch of Canadian markets. And it's almost like he figured it out over playing in 3 different Canadian markets before arriving in Toronto. Like, hey, you know what Leaf fans are? They're just Canadian fans who like watching an honest effort and a guy who shows up to the rink with a lunch pail, works his ass off, and shows some emotion to the crowd. It actually pissed me off watching him celebrate the Senators win and the rest of the guys kind of being like, and going, that guy wasn't even in the playoff series against them last year, and it seemingly meant more to him than anybody else. Why can't that be the rest of you? Like, why can't that be a larger group of you? Yeah, I think he's the most popular Leaf that I can remember that was like this. Because clearly, like Matthews at the very beginning of Matthews, right? Like Marner at the beginning of Marner, Nylander at the beginning of Nylander. Like Tavares the first season in Toronto where he's on the best line in all of hockey. Like guys have had these awesome years and moments. But Stecher as a guy that they picked off of a waiver heap, showing up here and giving them exactly what they needed, giving them a ton of ice time, giving them a ton of passion, being as likable as he is, scoring a huge goal last night. Like, this is a one-of-one experience, and I'm riding the wave.
Totally. And I think it's just it's a perfect storm, to go back to your wave analogy.
Yeah.
It's a perfect storm of need for a team and style of play that a fan base loves.
Yep.
Where it's just a undersized guy that, probably if he didn't shoot right, wouldn't have nearly the amount of chances that he's gotten in his career.
Probably wouldn't
right?
be on this team.
No, he probably wouldn't be in the league if he shot like it's just like being a right-handed guy, and he just has come in here. And do they have the best penalty kill in the league since he's been on the team? Like, he leads them in a short. He leads them in. They never give up a power play goal anymore. He leads them in shorthanded time on ice. He plays hard. He's just a perfect storm of what people like and what the Leafs needed at this time. They needed a right-handed shot defenseman, and he's come in here and he led them in ice again last night, dude. Like, you can picture when Carlo comes back and Phil Myers goes out. Like, I mean, we say what you will about Carlo, but he's not Myers. It's like the Leafs decor is not terrible. If he's a bottom half of the decor guy, which I don't think Berube would ever do anymore, because now he just puts them over the boards every time. I'm blown away by it. Every guy that, every person that covers a team that he used to be on is just like all over him. Dan Murphy's basically crying on Twitter every night about how Troy from Richmond, they just adored him in Vancouver. They adored him in Calgary. He comes here. He's got the biggest fan base in the world. We all adore him. He's just got the Canada approval rating. Put him on the Olympic team, bud. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Thomas Harley. Hit the skids, bud. It's time. Get Stetch in there.
That's actually a nice little additive to it too, is that you would think he's from here the way that he plays.
Yes, he gets it, man.
Yeah.
He just gets it.
Like,
Troy's boys for life, man.
Yeah, I know. Troy's boys.
The scary thing is that, like, you are actually into the point now where the extension talk, like, is going to start, right?
I would do it
free agent
immediately.
Of course you would.
Yeah.
But the experience could not be as good next year. And it's like, boy, that was such a ride.
But no one's like waiting to pay him $4 million a year. You know what I mean? No, man. No.
You
no,
sure
no.
about, you sure about
yes,
that?
I'm sure about that. I'm positive about that.
All right.
I'm saying that, like, yeah, dude, this is his 7th stop in the league. Like, he's not getting a big deal.
Okay, maybe.
This is not an oversized fear, but I do love that he's playing for his life. So as much as I want to extend him, I kind of love that it's just like every night go out there and work for your supper and be the guy who's the hungriest dog, because there is, like, the idea that they would reward him.
Like the Leafs should have done with Stolars this year.
Yeah, just the job's not done yet.
Yeah.
Finish the job, and then don't worry. Like, we'll take care of you. So that's the way I'd be treated. As harsh as that is for it to be the guy who least deserves that treatment out of this entire team.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Yeah, but he lead by example. Okay, last thing, because we got to go. We're late.
Okay.
Canada unveils their roster, and you and I had same but different takes. I hated that Scheifele and Bennett were left off because
both should be on the team.
Yeah, and we just did it. We had different guys that we would have left off. Like I think pretty much universally, I don't know, maybe you could tell me I'm wrong, but most guys looked at this team and said, okay, you're bringing Cirelli over those two.
Cirelli's the guy.
Yeah,
Cirelli's the guy.
Cirelli's the number one guy. And it feels very John Cooper, and it feels like that sucks. I hate that. And not to disrespect Cirelli. I know he could kill penalties. He's a good player, reliable, all that different stuff, whatever. And I know Bo Horvat's having an amazing season, and I actually do hope that he's okay, because to have your Olympic dream stolen from you when you get hurt would be brutal. So I'm not rooting for him to be hurt. But the way that Bennett and Scheifele play, to me, is supposed to be Canadian identity. And the fact that Bennett had 2 years where he won a Conn Smythe and was their second best player at Four Nation, maybe their most consistent guy throughout the entirety of the tournament, who elevates his games for the biggest moment, where it's like, you're clutch, you hit, you're a dog, you're mean, you'll fight, you'll stand in front of the net, you'll block a shot, you'll do anything. I watched the juniors, and our Canadian identity as a nation is gone. Like, the rest of the world is caught up at that level. It just is what it is, and you're just hoping and praying, to me anyways, that the DNA from the older guys can get passed enough to the youth that's coming in, where we can create more of that at best-on-best tournaments. And I hate the idea of leaving those two guys off, because I think it punishes, or it doesn't reward, rather, is the better way to put it. It doesn't reward what is supposed to be a Canadian identity hockey in favor of things that I don't view are as much a part of that.
I can't believe they left Bennett off.
Yeah.
I just if you're Doug Armstrong and you sat there and you watched Sam Bennett trade blows with Brady Tkachuk at the Four Nations,
It's criminal.
like in the most highly the most highly, like one of the most highly intense hockey games ever played, that first game where those guys are just at center ice. Brady Tkachuk's a mutant above Sam Bennett's weight class. He didn't care. Gloves off, chucking bombs. Then in the gold medal game, crucial tying goal late in that second period when that game felt like it was slipping away. And then he goes to the Stanley Cup final, wins Conn Smythe in a series that involved Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Barkov, Tkachuk, like some of the best players on planet Earth, and he was dubbed to be the best one. Slow start to this year, sure. How the hell could those guys supposed to care about games in October and November?
He's on a Panthers team that got hit harder with injury than any other team in hockey.
He's actually started to be really good recently.
Yeah.
And there's just no way I can look at this and not be like, it was Cooper. He hates Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
And he's the coach and he wanted his boy. And it's just, I can't look at it any other way. I can't come up with a reason. If it's just Bennett for Cirelli and the rest of the team is the way I think it's a perfect team.
Fine.
I think they nailed it. Like you can quibble with Scheifele instead of Bo Horvat. You can go there. I'm fine with that.
Again, I wasn't apoplectic about that though. Like I didn't text you being
I'm apoplectic about Bennett.
100%.
I can't believe Bennett's not on the team.
Because
I can't believe
here's the thing too, man. Hockey is supposed to be like every other sport where it's a meritocracy. And this is a situation where you clearly see politics at play. That John Cooper having to say to Anthony Cirelli, you've lost your spot, but we're still taking Sam Bennett, would have been difficult for his room. Would have been
100%.
difficult for his team to bring him there and to see Cooper with Sam Bennett, if they score a big goal, yucking it up based on, like, man, the Panthers Lightning stuff is must-see TV. Oh, my God. They
call up Scott Sabrin every game to go out there and skull guys.
The only real rivalry left in hockey is the two Southern Florida teams, when they see each other, want heads on pikes.
Yes, man. It's crazy.
We got to go to break. Anyway, we got to go. But
yeah.
Anyway, man, it's nice to catch up. And
Bennett's probably going to get on anyway, though, because someone's going to get hurt.
Maybe.
But it's just the principle of not taking
Yeah, it's awful. Anyway, quick break. We'll come back, and Sammy and I'll see you Saturday night. So I got to be quick. This is why I came back on the Friday. I needed to work out the kinks. I knew it was going to be tough. We did it. We talked about sports, and it didn't seem 11 out of 10 bad. If I, given the movie rankings, this show up is give like a solid 5 out of 10. Next week, we're back for real. We're in for the run. I'm excited to be back. Honestly, when I was coming back, all I could think when you spend that much time with your family is like, maybe I'll just retire. Maybe I'll just be done and figure something out in a small town and just disappear. But doing this back today, I love it. I'm grateful to be doing it, and I'm excited for 2026. Happy New Year to everybody. We'll see you on Saturday for Leafs Talk and Monday for this show.